welcome to Musings, Rants, and Guitars, November 22nd, 2020, or also known as March 357th of the year 2020. And welcome John Montalbano from My World to us.
Yeah.
Hey, John.
Hey, John. This is going to be a great interview. I can just tell from here.
I can tell already.
Yeah,
this
we
is
can
great.
hear you clearly through the
Is the coast clear?
Safety precautions that we all must take, even on video at this point.
That's right. I have to ease myself into it. I took that mask because I'm just, I'm a little insecure, so I don't want to catch anything from you guys and, from all those listeners out there too. It's like,
It's
Stay safe, wear your mask.
That's right.
Safe, wear a mask.
Absolutely.
That's
I'm
it.
an advocate.
It's like smell-o-vision. You should smell us. Oh my God. So how are you, bro?
Hanging in, man. Hanging in.
Like the rest of us.
Bloody chaos.
Day 3,242 of the pandemic. Pretty soon, it's Soylent Green again. And that's, here we are.
Been absolutely crazy.
I think this was coming, it's like, I remember I used to say this, I'm like, it's only going to take one virus to knock out the whole human race, and it's like, and I'm like, oh my God, this is really creepy, that it actually came to this too. And I'm like, see, but my thing is like with the mask and everything, it's like, again, I'm going to say it to everybody. I hope everyone is wearing the masks,
Yeah, just be safe.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've been in Manhattan every day pretty much through this whole thing. I work in, IT like Joey does, and we are essential.
Right.
But probably right at the end of March when everything shut down, I was still going in. And there was this one day where I was walking in the subway and there was no one there, right? And the garbage is blowing by and the overhead page is going, "Stay safe, New York. Stop the pandemic." And I'm like, this is so fucking sci-fi. I can't take it. I need to get home and curl up in bed.
Yeah.
And that was in March. I haven't gotten out since.
I don't blame you, man. I mean, it's like, it's really, it was hard to know exactly what was going to happen in the beginning. It was a really weird thing because, I mean, obviously as musicians and whatever it is, musicians, whatever you do for a living, it's like, there was that kind of gray area where before there was a lockdown, it's like, I believe that it's not safe to be out there, but I can't just not go to work, or I can't just stop. I'm going to tell everyone I'm gigging with that I can't show up. I can't go. You know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
But then within a week when the lockdown happened, I think everyone's like, all right, now we can do this. But there was still a lot of people, unfortunately, that.
I didn't want to be the one for like gigs when I started looking at stuff, I'm going, no, these things aren't going to happen. But I can't say that I'm not the one showing up. I needed to cancel. So, which was, it not good that it worked out, but good that I didn't have to be the one saying I'm not going.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No, it was a tough one, man. I mean, I had one gig, that was that way. And I'm like, and I'm talking to my wife and I'm like, again, I didn't want to be the guy, to say, all right, I'm not doing it. But, I told him, I said, listen, I'm going to do the gig, but I'm going to run in and run out. You know what I mean? To be antisocial. And there was 3 people in the place anyway. It was in Manhattan. Yeah. There was only 3 people, and I think including the bartender, because nobody was going out already,
Right.
But it's pretty scary, man. I mean, it was a weird, I know, the mayor and, they're trying to do the best they can with all the schools and everything. And, but that was a tough thing too, especially if someone has parents, someone has kids, if your kid's supposed to stay home from school, what are you supposed to do if you didn't get the dispensation to work from home yet?
Right.
It's been different. It's been challenging. As we were talking before we started rolling, it's been challenging as musicians, first off, for work. It's been challenging because, we are separated from people and we're not able to interact. And we are, as I was saying, we're extrovert introverts, right? So we're really, we're self-contained introverts, but we're band members too, and we like playing in bands. We like a good hang. We like good music. We like, we like to hang out and have a drink and just say, you know what, I'm here with, comrades in arms, and to be separated from them and be like this has been challenging for those of us who can communicate, and really challenging for people who can't.
Right.
So, that's why we love doing the show and trying to reach out and just, touch people, see where we are, see where you are, see, we've lost loved ones, but there's still a lot of strength out there. There's still a lot of love out there. There's still a lot of music out there. If anybody, needs to, reach out to us, reach out to someone else, say hi, check on them. Anyway,
Yeah, absolutely.
that's my rant for this moment.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Let's see how much more of a dick I can be in a little bit.
It's a pissing contest, it is.
Look at these people.
Wow. So how many gigs did you end up losing?
I mean, the ones that really, really hurt, was, in April, I was supposed to, Bass Gear Magazine has their Midwest Rhythm Summit, that was in April. And I was doing a clinic for them. And then we also had a performance with My World out there, so that was canceled. We had a couple of gigs on the way there, a couple of gigs on the way back. That was a tough one, because that's that's a pretty cool high profile thing, and they were trying their best to hold on, but because nobody really, it hadn't hit Ohio that bad at that stage.
It was like a slow wave making its way around the country.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. So it was a really tough, like a tough choice, and that was kind of awkward too, because, with that stuff, I was planning, for, I had specific gear I was going to be using, for those shows, to kind of, work with the manufacturers and, kind of
your endorsement deals. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Showcase the equipment and the effects and everything.
That's right. It's like, so that's part of it, because, that's part of advertising for the manufacturers, you know what I mean? And I've been fortunate to have some very, close relationships with a lot of people, over the years, and not that me not doing a clinic is gonna, make them bankrupt.
Right.
It's not like someone's like, oh, he's playing that bass, then 9,000 people are gonna, want to play.
That's it. Their phone is ringing off the hook going, oh my God.
Not that, but
Blue, Jeff Blue.
It's like, you fucked us. Right.
Fucking John.
Yeah. But it's so that was a tough one. And then usually I go out to Nashville. We were going to head down to Nashville for the Summer NAMM show, and that was a tough one because we had some stuff going on there, and then October we originally had, usually when AES comes up, in the city, usually we'll get something, on a higher profile in the city, so it's like, so those are the main things, that kind of like, that kind of hurt,
Just kind of died out. Now, is there a chance that those, that schedule might, come around again, like postponed until further notice, or are they just lost and you have to try it again next go around?
It's, whether it's most likely if everything clears up, it'll be on for next year. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's like, so next week we'll start, again, it's their choice whether or not they want me again, it's like, that's, it's a different story, but that was the tough one, that was the tough stuff, from a gigging standpoint, we do play like, in New York City and Long Island here and there, it's like, but it's not like we're not dependent on like playing like every weekend or something like that, for, I feel bad for like, God, man, a lot of people that are in like, the cover band scene, the wedding band scene.
Yeah.
The pit guys in Broadway.
Oh, forget it, man.
Yeah.
Pit guys, that's insane.
Yeah.
And the thing is too, is like, especially with the pit guys, it's like, they're working almost every single day.
Yeah, sometimes twice a day, right? So they were.
Yeah.
That's right. and they make really good money, you know.
But it's their job. It's their living, man. It's not like he can go, okay, all right, we can do 25% so you can dishwash. You know what I mean? Like you can bring in that guy.
Right.
Those aren't those guys. These aren't plan B people.
No, not at all. Not at all. You know, and that's really hurting, you know. I mean, it's like, I think a lot of musicians, you know, a lot of professional musicians, every level musician, you know, has really been forced to kind of recreate themselves in a lot of ways. You know, it's like a lot of the guys, which is great, you know, it's like some of like these A-list guys are really great people, you know, are giving lessons, you know, which is great, because I think some of these guys never really have the time to do that because they're always on the road. You know, hopefully they're building up a clientele enough, you know, to make decent money with lessons. And there's a lot more people at home. You know what I mean? So, you know, so I'm hoping, again, I don't have that experience myself, you know, but I'm hoping that the demand for lessons, you know, like on Zoom, you know, has increased over this. You know?
I have taken a few lessons here and there, depending upon, you know, whose name came up, and I'm like, oh, well, that's a good idea. I should probably take a lesson from him, and I did it, you know, and so, you know, I've spent so much time woodshedding. It's kind of freaky. I should spend time writing. We were talking to Billy Sheehan last week, and I said I should probably practice songwriting. That should probably be a better idea at this point, because, you know, instead of transcribing, you know, Coltrane records, I should be writing. But anyway, but yeah, so a lot of them have been, and I think a lot of people we've talked to have really dove in. Like one cool thing that Johnny Highland was doing, right, guys? He was like, you send me a skeleton song,
right,
and I will absolutely get it 100% finished and send it back to you for $500.
Wow.
I mean, you know, full studio mastered back.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
People should be, you know, the guys should be looking at some of the stuff like that if that's where they're at. But it's tough. It's tough.
It is.
If that's not your personality.
Well, that's the thing, is like, you know, it's, you know, there's such a broad dynamic for all this stuff, you know, and I'm like, for me, like this kind of took me a little bit, you know, this whole pandemic thing was kind of a little weird for me, you know. It's like, because I have an introverted side to me, as you know, as you said, a lot of us do.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And it's like, you know, so it was kind of, you know, part of me is like, all of a sudden the outside world just went, and now I'm here. You know, what am I going to do here? And which was good in a lot of ways for me, because it allowed me to focus, you know, on certain things that I just never had time to do. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, as doing a lot of the stuff that I do musically, it's very tough to actually to have time to sit by yourself and practice or really write music for you, you know?
Right.
You know, so a lot of the stuff that we were up against, you know, because I basically myself, Chris Munger, My World, you know, we do a lot of stuff for television and film. That's a big part of our thing.
Yeah.
You know, and so with that, it's very complicated. You know, sometimes it's, you know, the demands are extremely high. You know, the timelines are really, really fast. You know, and you'll find yourself like, okay, hey, we need something for this, and we need it in 24 hours. You're like, shit. You know, and it's like, and when that happens every couple of days, you're like, all right, it's like you're like a squirrel, like, you know, just 50 million directions trying to do 50 million things and get it done right, you know. So I think the vacuum kind of helped in some ways, you know, to kind of be able to refocus and to kind of reevaluate life a little bit, you know, and take a little bit of a breather too, you know. So
it's kind of like a pause.
Yeah.
I mean, trying to look at it from a positive point of view.
Yeah.
Musicians are hurting because, you know, they can't do shows where they make money. So the most logical thing I think you could do is remain positive.
Yeah.
Get back to yourself, relearn, reinvent yourself, write music, and just kind of just do whatever you can to weather it out.
Right.
So when they release the gates and we go back out to playing live,
You hit it hard.
Refocused, and you can just,
You,
you know,
that's exactly it.
and it's hard, but that's at least what I try to do.
That's what
Try to tell people, you know.
I think that's our mentality, you know, from
Yeah.
from a band standpoint, from a personal standpoint, is, you know, kind of like refocus, you know, get the brain going in a different way. So once everything hits, just hit hard and hit, you know, quality. You know,
Yeah.
just have like put a really sure foot forward, you know, when the gates do open up, you know. So
Right.
I agree.
So now I know you talked about doing various film work, and how did you get started with that? I mean, where, you know, how did that come to be? I know you had something to do with the Comedy Central people we were just discussing before we went up.
I mean, basically Chris Munger, you know, the guitar player in my world. I mean, we've been friends since I think we met when we were like 14, you know, so we've been, you know, played together since we were kids, you know.
Like a brotherhood.
And, yeah, totally, man, you know. And when Chris first got out of college, you know, one of his first gigs was in the mailroom at Comedy Central, you know, and I have to say, it's like, you know, so many people say, like, if you want a good gig, you get a good start, get started in the mailroom, you know. Right. I mean, I remember so many people saying that, you know, and, you know, I think the philosophy is that, you know, when you work in the mailroom, you know, you get to know everybody in that company. You know what I mean? It's like, because you're delivering mail to the president, to all the producers, whatever it is, you know, and, you know, whether or not that was the philosophy at the time, you know, but basically, you know, Chris, you know, with his personality and everything too, it's like everyone loves Chris. He's got a great personality.
Such a great
guy. Yeah. So he met everybody in the place, you know, and it was great because, like, I used to go and hang out with him in the mailroom after, you know, sometimes if I had a break or something like that, I would come in and hang out with him. We used to go all to the Comedy Central parties, and they used to all come out and see us play. You know, so whenever we had a gig,
that's awesome.
Like the whole company would come out and see us, you know? So it's like, and the thing is, you know, it's like, and it was a very young company at the time too. You know, it's like there was a lot of people. It wasn't like a huge, you know, it wasn't Viacom yet. You know, it was still, you know, still fairly small, but some really great producers, great people. So, so we're in the mailroom one day, and one of the heads of Comedy Central comes in and gives Chris a VHS tape, and is like, it's like, hey, I want you guys to check this out. I want you to, this is something we're thinking of picking up, you know? And sure enough, it was the very first South Park, like it was probably even 5 minute, you know, 5 minute clip. It was this episode where Jesus battles Santa Claus. So,
the never-ending war.
Oh, totally. But, you know, the thing is, at the time, we're talking, that's like early 90s.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and
this is before it was even released. They were thinking of picking it up
as like a holiday card for all.
Yeah, like I had heard he designed that and gave it to his friends.
I think that was how, when you think of TV back in the early, but yeah, I would have screwed Comedy Central if they listened to me.
I just to veer off on the on South Park. I remember when the movie came out.
Right.
I was in a hotel. I was traveling for you know, I was traveling, and I just flipped it on, and I'm in the bathroom doing stuff, and all of a sudden, you're an uncle fucker, and I like dropped my shit, and I'm like,
yeah,
what did he just say?
I know.
I was like,
I remember that.
Oh yeah, he's an uncle fucker. I'm like, God. I had to go in the other room, and I'm rolling because I'm like, this is all the bleep stuff. This is great. Anyway, that was
totally. It's like, it's TV. It totally, like, you know, I don't want to say raised the bar. It lowered the bar on television.
The bar was twisted and shit.
Oh, totally.
Oh yeah, they really, you know, it opened up for, you know, Family Guy being on, you know, regular TV.
That's right.
At times you were like, wow, if they had cursed on the show, that was the only thing they didn't do on Family Guy.
Because